Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Harebrained Games, the week in games. Let's cut right to the moments and get to our news. Okay, this week we have a few Kickstarters that are making waves, one of which is called Western Legends, which is a sort of a sandboxy, choose your own way to play game style where you can choose to be good guys, bad guys, etc. with an interesting poker mechanic for battles. Something to check out, a little pricey for me, but others might be inclined to want to give it a whirl. Corsair Leader from DVG Games is on the horizon. The Leader series are solitaire games that basically simulate, in a large scale, warfare in different theaters. We've had Apache Thunderbolt Leader, we've had Phantom Leader for Vietnam-based. We've had Sherman Leader, which is on my way here. It's the newest one, and now Corsair Leader is a Kickstarter, which will simulate the Pacific Theater of World War II. Some things to check out. Finally, First Martians, a game on Amazon right now, is at a screaming low price of $24. It is a game that I wouldn't recommend for casual people, but it is a very, very packed game. For $24 you're getting a tremendous amount of variety. I bought it at much higher than that, as it was larger price. So if you're interested in kind of a steal of a deal, First Martians Adventures on the Red Planet is $24.99. And now let's get to our question of the week. Okay, so one of the questions that I get frequently is, or a scenario I'll see is, what do I do to get my mother, brother, sister, wife, spouse, girlfriend to play games? I want them to learn to play board games. How do I get them to want to play board games? Very, very prickly answer. It's a trap question, because ultimately you don't know. I have seen it go poorly to try to get people into games in ways that actually have the opposite effect. My first guess would be, do they like games at all? If they don't like games at all and they just don't have an interest, you might suggest a really, really mild game of something, just, something really simple, and go, hey, is this interesting to you? And then slowly, gradually crescendo the complexity if they stay interested. If there's someone who's like, yeah, I've played Catan or Monopoly or whatever, yeah, sure, let's give it a shot, then you can introduce them to a whole world of games slowly, until they take the bait of going, yeah, I'm generating feelings of interest towards the board games. It becomes a critical point when you could turn them off by overwhelming them. For example, I tend to want to go, hey, if one game is good, 100 games are better. Many people don't work that way, and it's very, very important to be respectful of understanding that some people just never will. I will never crochet. I have taken a class on it. I have even done some. I will never crochet as a fun, hobby-filled lifestyle. Other people are passionate about it. That's great. So one of the things about that is to try to be a little less about how do I get X to do this for me than it is what kinds of things might I be able to find common ground with for that person, and be able to see if they're even interested in going to the next step in board gaming goodness. That's my advice. I'm sure there's a zillion pounds of advice out there, but that's one thing I've learned. The caveat being, if you overwhelm them too quickly, it will basically turn them off. You have to be real patient and just let them decide if they want to take the worm on the hook and chaw on that some more, if they want to just head down to a different place. Don't try and go against the grain. Don't try to fight upstream of what is a natural inclination for a person. That's my advice. Psychologist Tim is in the house. Anyway, and let's get to our 3 games of the week. Alright, first game, Gloom of Killform. This is a very difficult game to get in the United States, it seems. I'm not able to find it on any retail markets, and not really easy to find even used markets. So I was very fortunate to find this at Around the Table Games in Linwood, Washington. Excited for this. This is kind of a cross between Mage Knight and Mistfall. It's an adventure game, 1 to 4 players. The designer did another game, 1066 Tears to Many Mothers, based on on a battle, the very, very important battle in English history. This is all about, it's more like Lord of the Rings-ish kind of thing, but artwork looks just astounding. So, Gloom of Kilforth. Next, The Great Dinosaur Rush. We seem to be getting a flock of dinosaur games. This bent is that you're creating your own dinosaur by excavating bones. It's less about building up dinosaurs or dinosaur parks or learning about dinosaurs than it is you're archaeologists and you're trying to do, to any means possible, nefarious or kind, to be able to get the bones from the archaeological sites to be able to build dinosaurs to earn mega points for your mega dinosaurs. So looking forward to trying that out. I haven't given it a whirl. And finally, the epic game of all epic games, Pendragon. This is a coin game, which means that it is a 4-player, or optimally a 4-player game, where you are taking on various factions. You've got the 4 factions, including like the Scots, who are invaders in this particular scenario, and Saxons, Irish Picts, you name it. This is a game of high complexity. You would not say, hey everyone, now that we're done with our s'mores, anyone want a quick filler? No, this one's going to take hours and hours. It's multi-layered. Anybody that's ever played a coin game knows that it's not your, it is a game system all its own. Really interesting. I have all but 2 of the coin games where each one, it's not just battlefield, moving your units on a map. It's positioning and influencing and just various veins of inputs that make these games so amazing. So if you are someone who loves a good challenge, then don't be Pendragon your feet. Go ahead and pick this up from GMT Games or at your local market. And with that, let's get to Tim's Tantrum. Alright, this is my tantrum. It's not a very big one, but it is one. I appreciate companies that give me a full parts list in my board games. You'd be amazed that there are times when I look to see components lists and there isn't one, and it doesn't set well with me. I don't like it because I tend to be someone who wants to know that every single piece is accounted for, very detailed, and I'm not really a wing it kind of person when it comes to board games. So it's great if manufacturers can make sure they include parts lists. I want to know every piece. I want it all accounted for, and I want it broken down. Most of the time people do include parts lists. That isn't really as big of a problem, but they kind of fudge a little bit. Here's an example. I have a game, and I'm not going to name names, of a game that broke down a bunch of pieces. I'm like, yes, I got this, and then it's like, and 50 assorted tokens. So here's all these cardboard tokens, and I'm like, well, are they the right ones? Chances are they are. Was there any of them missing? Am I accounting for all of them? Oh, there's 4 of these, so these tokens is, and they're different colors, they must be for every player since it's a 4-player game. Stuff like that. Why leave the question to the mind? Just break it down. Even if you have to do it in small print, break down all of the pieces in a game. I wouldn't want a partial parts list from any other place where I get any other good if I can help it. So that really makes a difference. The other thing is, if you have extra tokens, call them out as extra tokens, because otherwise people, it's not that you're benefiting people if they're like, oh, I have extra of these. I hope that doesn't mean they didn't put enough of those in or not. Eventually it reconciles, you map it out, you piece it out. But I buy puzzles to do puzzles, and I buy games to play games, so I don't want my game to wind up being a puzzle as I'm figuring out if everything's there. Because unlike Forrest Gump, board games are not a box of chocolates. You should always know what you're gonna get. Yeah. So that's my tantrum, mild as it may seem. And that's it, except for the photo of the week. Can you guess what game this picture represents? And you will get a Clap Clap prize. So that's it. Not much this week, but hey, that gives us more time to play games, right? Thanks again, and we'll see you next time on Harebrained Games.